Welcome to Arts Talk TV. We're putting a spotlight on creativity. Hi, I'm Karina Lawrence from Arts Talk TV. We're here at the Brisbane Dance Festival, which is an amazing, fun-filled day of dance and celebrating everything in the creative realm. And I'm here talking with the producer of the event, Meade.
Thank you for having me. This is a bit exciting.
Pleasure. Now, you're no stranger to this setup, are you? Because you were the founder of the Victorian Dance Festival.
So a little bit of a gap, obviously, and really proud of the Victorian Dance Festival, and under Deb and Dan Searle, we're just watching that explode even bigger and better every single year. I think it was important for Queensland to have its own event. Queenslanders have been so supportive of other states. There's some great work coming out of here that we can really be starting to celebrate.
So true. So that's obviously very important with this festival is, you know, educate, inspire, and of course have fun. Your motto is dance is for everyone.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of experience as a studio teacher yourself, running a studio, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the transition into events and things like that. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Sure. It was Kate's Dance House, and that was a childhood dream. You know, I grew up and I always wanted to have my own studio. I did that for 8 years, and essentially what happened was I launched off the Victorian Dance Festival, and I realised really quickly that sometimes you have to break down barriers, and one of the barriers was that I was a studio owner and I needed to be Switzerland. You know, I was really sad when I sold Kate's Dance House. You know, you grieve for these things, but at the same time it was the right thing to do, and that's what the transition kind of looked like.
Wonderful. Okay, so you've obviously got a huge passion in educating the next up-and-coming artists. What is the key point, do you believe, that the industry is really in need of?
That is a fantastic question. For me, it's always about exclusivity, number one. And when I think about events, you'll always see me at the beginning of an event at the door. And it's about making sure that you're grateful. You know, grateful that they spent that money on your event, grateful for amazing educators that come through, grateful for an experience that happens, and just the respect of, wow, that's where you've come from, what can I learn from you? And I just think that will always be something that we can be reminded of, you know?
Yeah. So simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over the past 5 years, you've been the network breakfast host for ACE Radio Network, which is the Morning Rush. And now you're the senior producer for the Jonesy and Brendan Jones and Amanda Keller breakfast show.
Yeah, Jonesy and Amanda in Sydney. Yeah,
that's
it's crazy.
Fantastic. So what was your transition and how did you get into radio, so to speak?
So I've loved two things in my life: dance and radio. In 2013, at the same time I was starting the Victorian Dance Festival, I actually did the radio course. The festival was starting to grow. I enrolled in my Masters in Media Communication, and it actually worked out beautifully because all the tools I was learning about how to communicate about dance or for radio was crossing over into dance.
Wow.
So it was this beautiful merging. And by chance a job kind of come up, and it was in my hometown, and I was very lucky and fortunate to experience so many opportunities. And I guess I think part of dance is that you learn how to perform whenever, and radio is no different, being able to communicate. So as soon as the light comes on, you're ready to perform already. So for me, I used to say, oh, it's like stepping onto the stage every single morning, you know, that's what it was kind of like. And then now I guess it's wanting to work with the best in the industry. So I get to do that with dance. I get to do that now with the Brisbane Dance Festival. We get to choose the best instructors in the country. And now I get to do the same in radio. Jonesy and Amanda have been at their show for 18 years.
Wow.
And, you know, to be working with, again, the best in Australia, that's, you know, it's the test. It's the ultimate test.
So in regards to BDF, what was your, you touched on a little bit that you wanted to provide an education dance platform for the state. What was your, I guess, inspiration and intention behind creating those?
It's always about the dancer. So I always think he or she is about 11 years old and loves to dance and may not go on to be an Australian ballerina or even a professional dancer, but they love dance. And my total belief is that if you nurture the arts, in particular dance, you nurture it while they are young dancers, they will have it with them for life. Absolutely. And they will be able to go to a class as an adult, or they will go and see shows, or they will do a marketing degree and work in, at a company
Still
doing the art,
creative,
So, and I just think that sometimes it can be lost, in the pursuit of winning a competition or, those things. So strip all of that away, making sure that the experience is spot on, that they love dance so much that they can have it then for the rest of their life.
You're connected with the Women of Influence. Tell me more about that.
Connected? Yes.
You are.
Essentially, it is a podcast, yeah.
Okay.
So, crazy thing happened in 2018. The Australian Financial Review released 100 Women of Influence in Australia. And I managed to get on it for my work in dance for Australia. So it was this amazing event happening in Sydney, and I'm in this room thinking, what am I doing here? I haven't done anything compared to some of these people. But the more women I got to talk to, I realised that there were all these incredible stories, and no one was telling them. No one was telling the story of McKinley Butson, who at 16 years old had designed a breast shield for women with breast cancer. No one was telling the story of Kate Everett, who had lost her daughter to bullying, And so Ace Radio, when I was working for them, I said to them, would you mind? I'd like to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And so it has grown. So yes, there's a Facebook community.
Yes.
We just signed with iHeartRadio.
Wow.
Just always, for me, being fascinated by the person that's in front of me. Everyone has a story.
Absolutely.
So if you can just slow down for a second, sit down and enjoy what someone has to offer, because everyone's got something.
Beautiful.
There'll be a lesson to take away.
So you're the co-director of the Australian Audio Summit.
Yes.
And the co-director of Shush
Productions.
Which is your podcast.
It's a podcast network.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's connected with Women of Influence?
Yeah, so that's who produces the podcast that then goes to iHeartRadio.
What would you say, in your experience, being involved in dance and obviously other elements that are connected to it, what would you say is one of your standout moments?
It would probably be back in 2013. Must have been a big year for me, I don't know what, 2013. We started a group in Southwest Victoria called Let's Dance, and it was for dancers with disability.
Yes.
So it's an all abilities dance club that's still running in Warrnambool at the moment. And that was again about making sure that everyone knew that you could have dance and you could be a dancer in your life. Fast forward to the Victorian Dance Festival, we're at the Melbourne Town Hall. It was 2017. There were 5,000 dancers there, and Let's Dance performed Heal the World by Michael Jackson. And they performed in the middle with every other dancer in the space surrounding them and did a class together. And I just think the lesson was more than the class in front of them, and it was about, there was a young boy that was a part of Let's Dance. He turned to me, he said, look, they're dancing just like we are. And we're seeing it through a lot of mental health practice now too, in terms of the creative arts. So we're actually seeing a lot of art therapy come through. We are seeing the dance, we're seeing singing, we're seeing painting. And it's kind of like, yeah, finally there are ways to express yourself
It's needed,
outside
isn't it?
just physically talking.
As the producer of BDF, in one word, how would you describe this experience?
Vibe. If it was one word, it's just all about the vibe.
I love it.
Yeah, vibe.
Brilliant.
Vibe. All I've cared about is how does it feel? How does it feel to you?
Well, that's what
how
dance
the kids
is about,
feel. Yes,
isn't
that's
it,
it. So they need to walk out with they're going to walk out absolutely exhausted. You just want people to walk away with their heart full. I don't want to lose that community that is building, and that is the most important thing. So sometimes having thousands of dancers doesn't actually equate to a better event if you lose that vibe.
Okay, well, we have this cool, fun segment on Arts Talk TV. It's called the Shutter Speed Challenge.
Okay.
It's like a rapid fire questions. You up for it?
All right.
Okay.
All right.
What's your favorite thing about being creative?
No limits.
Person you'd most like to meet?
Tim Grover. He was the coach of Michael Jordan. He worked with him one-on-one.
Oh, wow.
And he has an amazing book called Relentless.
Yes.
And I just highly recommend that to anyone that will listen to me. Tim Grover. Yeah.
All right, note to self. If you had to label creativity with a colour, what colour would you choose?
Ooh. Well, my first thing was purple, which is weird, so we better go with purple. Maybe I'm getting some vibes.
Maybe. High spirit.
Maybe.
It's purple. Okay, what would you miss most about the arts if it wasn't around anymore?
I think life would be very boring. I just don't know what you would live for without something creative in the world.
Yeah, I agree with that. Perfect. In one word, what does the art mean to you?
Love.
Aww.
Yeah. Love.
Perfect. I agree. Concur. Well, Kate, it has been so nice chatting with you.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on such an awesome event, and your skills and your passion and what you offer. It has been such a pleasure and privilege to sit across from you and listen from your heart and speaking the truth and representation of creativity. I think the world needs more people like you.
Thank you. We wouldn't be here without everyone's support.
I was just about to say that. We're better together.
Yeah, 100%.
Well done.
Thank you.
So glad you could join us today on our Arts channel.